It's Wednesday, April 1st, and you're watching the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. I'm your host for today, Jay Scooper, alongside my producer for the next hour and a bit, Mike Bennett, working his way behind the boards, keeping everything nice and smooth as we work our way through a great April Fool's Day. First of all, April Fool's Day sucks. No one likes it. You have to spend the entire day pretending as if what you read is not true, questioning everything you read, which you should always do, especially on Twitter. You want to make sure that the sources are accurate. But I just got a horrible text from a friend. Chase the Lauder out 2 months. I don't know if he was trying to play an April Fool's prank on me. But yeah, it seems like he's out for 2 months. Maybe it's an April Fool's Day prank. I'm distraught if that happens, because there goes the Lauder tickets, it seems like. Anyways, got a great show for you today. A little distraught off the top of the show. And no April Fool's Day prank here. Yes, we have Mr. Peanut Bettor coming on. But I think the people who will be shocked to see the cat himself, Mr. Over-Under, Matt Zylbert, on the show for Wednesday. When I first saw that, I was like, wait, hold on. Is Alex, you playing a prank on me? Is this a coordinated effort from Jeff and Alex to be, oh, haha, April Fools? Nope, Jeff has a dentist appointment. Cannot make it today. So we're not talking Valero Open. Instead, we're talking MLB Wednesday with Matt Zylbert. I'm sure he's going to have some interesting takes on the Rookie of the Year race now that Chase the Lauder is, I don't want to say he's out, but he's out for 2 months, which is probably going to hurt his chances on winning Rookie of the Year. Then we should close the show with Kirk Evans. We'll talk a little bit about how, I guess, good process from teams is a good sign when you want to bet on teams. I don't want to see if he agrees with you. More so, I'm talking about the Toronto Tempo, still at 175-1. Seeing if them bringing Messiah on board makes him want to click that a little bit more. Anyways, excited to get into today's show. We're going to bring on our first guest in just a second. But before we do that, I don't know if you guys were watching MLB yesterday, but my God, do these umpires want jobs? Are they trying to, retire early? What's going on here? 2 things that stuck out to me. Number 1, CB Buckner, who's been in the news lately because he's had God knows how many challenges from batters on terrible strike calls, was working first base. Jake Bauers, single to first, clearly steps on the bag. Then about a minute and a half later, after everything settles down, Buckner calls Bauers out saying he didn't step on the bag. The Brewers had to challenge it. I don't know if you guys can see this, but he's very clearly stepping on the bag. I don't know where CB Buckner's looking. He's looking off to the left where the ball was thrown. Wow. Shocking. Robots can do this very easily. The other one we saw yesterday was Mark Wagner, who struggles to count past 2 apparently, because in this at-bat between Cam Smith and Brian Bayo, the first 3 pitches were swinging strikes. But then Cam Smith proceeded to walk. Don't know how that happens. I don't even think the broadcast crew noticed. After the second swinging strike, I believe someone on the Astros tried to steal second. They just a whole disaster there. They missed the catcher, missed the throw. But it doesn't matter. Can you not count past 2? 3 strikes, 3 swinging strikes, you're usually out. Tough for anyone who had Brian Bayo's over Ks there. But I don't even think it got close. He had 2 Ks, it looks like, going through 4.2 innings. But that would be an all-time bad beat if you ended up losing your strikeouts on that. Excited to get into today's show. Excited to talk through things with you guys today. Before we do that, just want to give you a quick shout-out to our other partner channels here, Forward Progress and Hit the Books, because they are live. They're back and they're live. Forward Progress is back, 2 p.m. Eastern time. We got all the best offseason content, big moves, betting futures. We got you covered. We got some early look division winners, 2 p.m. Eastern time on the Forward Progress YouTube channel. Then after that, today, 5 p.m. Eastern time on the Hit the Books YouTube channel. We also got another video coming out. I assume they're probably going to go through each conference, talk through that. You can join live, drop your questions in, and be back with the Forward Progress and Hit the Books crew. That's live at 2 p.m. Eastern time for Forward Progress, 5 p.m. Eastern time for Hit the Books. All right. Let's bring on our first guest here. He's a prediction market punter, and I guess he's just stopped from doing his daily jog or whatnot. Mr. Peanut Bettor, outside in the dog park. How's it going?
Do I look like a guy who jogs a lot to you? I think that's probably the nicest thing you said to me.
I'm not going to answer yes or no to that one, but what are you doing outside? You got the Nike shirt on. It seems like you're working out. What's going on here? You going for a walk?
No, our office has a patio thing. It's nice outside. Our office is full, and usually I just make them sit in silence as I do this radio hit. So I was trying to be nice as I walked outside there.
All right, interesting. The people you pay to be your friends who are in your office. I almost said I said the word walk there. I should have probably spelled it with you being a dog and whatnot. WALK. Let's talk NBA. There's a couple things I want to talk about. Let's lead with the most improved player of the year market, because we talked a little bit about it last week. Everything we talked about it last week looked pretty good. We had Con Knipple at minus 180. He's now since moved to minus 250. You like Keldon Johnson around minus 110 to win sixth man of the year. He's now moved to minus 200. So we're going to pat ourselves on the back for that one. But Deny Avdija, little bit worrisome there. We saw him at plus 600 last week. You thought it was a good number. It's 20-1 right now in the most improved market. You didn't like Nickeil Alexander-Walker. He's now minus 130 to win the award. Talk me through the most improved player award. Do you think Avdija is still a good click here at 20-1, or is it basically over for him?
So it seems like everybody has kind of forgotten about Avdia, and he had his run early in the season. So, as time goes on, it just is getting farther and farther in the background. I think it's probably too late at this point in terms of, I just think everybody's forgotten about him. And, he's not playing his best basketball right now. If you were to do it over the whole season, I think he's a very, worthy candidate. But right now he's lost all the momentum. It seems to be going away. At 20-1, I still probably like it, but at that point, it's probably just sunk cost bias speaking at this point. So, yeah, I think that it's, as the odds indicate, it's a two-man race right now between Duren and Walker.
All right. Would you like Duren right now at the plus 110-ish, I believe he's at, versus the minus 130, or are you just kind of staying away from this market considering, again, like I've been talking about all year for these awards markets, do you really want to tie up all this money on a minus 110, which is pretty, or minus 130 or plus 110, which is pretty relatively close in terms of awards voters?
So it's not far enough out that I would be too worried about tying up the capital right now. I still think that Duren's a good value buy here. I maybe, my famous last words is I keep fading Alexander Walker as he shoots up the odds charts. But if they're doing this based on merit, he should be minus 500. Duren has taken a crazy leap as an individual scorer. He's like a very large reason why Detroit has jumped into the 1 seed. Alexander Walker switched roles, and that's really the reason for his increase. Don't get me wrong. He's made strides as a player. He's a better player than he was last year. But the jump that Duren's made, it's more meaningful to go from an all-star level player to an all-NBA player. And he really should be, in my mind, he should be second-team all-NBA, at minimum third-team all-NBA this season. And he's been a dominating scorer on both ends. I think that he's made the biggest gap. He certainly deserves the award. And if I'm going to go down, I'm going to go swinging on the guy who I think should win the award. So I still think there's value in Duren, but the odds keep shooting up saying that I'm wrong here.
All right, Jalen Duren, plus 105. I think I marked him down as plus 110 here. Plus 105 right now, most improved player award on FanDuel. If you want to go click that, it's available right now on FanDuel. Let's get into some play-in tournament stuff. This is what I really wanted to talk about with you today because, obviously things can change with the East. The 76ers have 41 wins. The Magic, Heat, Hornets are all tied with 40 wins. But, the Raptors could fall in there. The Hawks could fall in there. But realistically, we seem like we're pretty locked in as to who at least 3 of the 4 teams are going to be here. One of the Sixers, Magic, Heat, or Hornets. Let's talk through as if that's locked in right now for both the East and West. I want you to talk us through the play-in tournament. So as it stands right now, like I mentioned, the Sixers and the Magic will play in the 7-8 seed. Heat versus Hornet will play in the 9-10 seeds. If things stand as they are right now, who do you like to make it out of there in the 7 seed and go on to play most likely the Celtics? And then who do you like winning the 9-10, playing the loser of the 7-8, and then ending up as the 8 seed playing the Pistons?
So in this, being the 7 seed is such an advantage. I think it gets overlooked sometimes. Just being able to play 2 home games to get in, it's really hard not to make it. You're just going to have, the odds of you having a positive shooting variance night, of getting a couple home crowds, things like that. And by definition, these teams are very close to one another. So whoever I like, in terms of overall as a team, is always going to be dwarfed by the situation there. With that being said, of the teams that are in there, I think that the Orlando Magic are the best team. at least have the highest ceiling, the most potential to scare someone of that group. I know that everybody thinks Philly with Embiid getting healthy and, they finally are getting their guys, but Embiid just doesn't look the same defensively. They have a lot of, they look very old, very unathletic when you're on the court. Orlando also has been missing guys all season. They're getting Franz Wagner back right at the perfect time. Him and Paolo really haven't played at all together this season. They have a bunch of guys, just athletically that can get into you, and they're younger and they're tougher in terms of neither one of these teams are very likely to win a series. Orlando seems like the team that is going to be the one that pushes you into the 6-7 game, makes you really earn it, and takes those cumulative hits on you. So if I was a team like number one, I would not want to play Orlando more than anyone of those teams.
All right. It seems like Charlotte has a really tough road as well, getting to the end of the season here. They have, again, I'm just using Tankathon, the strength of schedule. It's probably not the best, definitely not the best tool, but like it just gives us context of where these teams are ranked. Like Charlotte has a second ranked schedule. Orlando has 14th. Maybe Orlando can jump up there. Currently right now, plus 140 to make the playoffs. Would you rather take Orlando to, make the playoffs here at plus 140, or do you think it's like almost too hard for them to do that if they're in the 9-10 game? You'd rather just take them on the money line twice in both of their games?
So the thing that I would do first and foremost is go in and check the tiebreakers of all these teams. That's where you'll have the real advantage as far as like being able to map this out towards the end. Pay attention to the tiebreakers and pay attention to who might be playing opponents that are not as difficult as they appear. So, for example, Atlanta down the stretch is going to play Cleveland twice. Cleveland might not try to play their starters during that spot, pretty much locked into 4. So what appears to be, a very high strength of record opponent on their schedule actually is a super easy opponent if Craig Porter Jr. is starting. So that's a couple ways like down the season here to find edge is one, know your tiebreakers. That's the stuff that can get missed by sportsbooks pretty often, or just, people aren't paying as up to date on it. And the other thing is to, just look for teams that are tanking and how that might affect your strength of schedule down the end.
Yeah, it seems like tiebreak. Got to work your way through the tiebreakers. I'll be taking a look at that for next week for the show. Maybe we can talk about that next week as we close out the NBA season with only like 5 games left here for each team. Let's flip over and talk the other side. Let's talk the West. Right now, as it stands, we got the Suns versus the Clippers. It seems like, again, don't want to say it, well, probably locked in to the 7-8 seed here, and then the Trailblazers and the Warriors playing in the 9-10 game. Who do you like to come out between the Suns and the Clippers? Who do you think ends up playing the Spurs? And then talk me through who you think will win the Blazers-Warriors game, who will end up facing against the loser in the 7-8 seed with the welcome award of playing the Oklahoma City Thunder in the first round.
So, again, being home is going to give the Suns an advantage. But if you're just asking me who's the best team, I think it's the Clippers, especially with Darius Garland coming over to L.A. And he was hurt all year with Cleveland, and his toes looked like they were going to be an issue. And then all of a sudden he gets to L.A. and he's feeling better than ever and looks fantastic for them. So they have that. They have obviously Kawhi Leonard is someone who ramped up in a game, a single game setting is very dangerous and can be a threat. And they added Benedict Mathurin, who's not, the most efficient player, but is someone who can get hot on the right day and can put up volume buckets. So they have a lot of guys on the wing that kind of scare you. They have a point guard now that's playing better than ever. And they have, a bunch of bodies Ty Lue can hold in on the wing and kind of make your life hell if you're an opposing team. So if I was a team, I would not want to be facing LA first. Phoenix is they're similar in the fact that they're going to play hard. They're going to scrap. They just don't have quite the high-end talent level that you really fear at this point. And then, the 9 and 10, if Golden State was healthy, they would be the scariest team, or at least, up there with the Clippers. However, Curry still isn't back from his knee injury yet. They keep saying it's not a setback as they move back the time that he's supposed to play. So to me, at this point, it would be a surprise if Curry comes back and plays, or at least plays at the level that we expect him to. So I'm kind of, for now, writing off those two bottom teams in the West.
All right, writing off the two bottom teams in the West, most likely Suns and Clippers. If you're the Suns or the Clippers, what side would you rather be on? Would you rather play the Spurs in round 1 or the Thunder in round 1?
I would rather play the Spurs in round 1 as opposed to the Thunder.
All right. Do you think either of these teams have a chance to upset the Spurs in round 1?
No. Victor Wembanyama, maybe if Wemby gets hurt or something like that. The Spurs have been really good lately. I think that they are by far the second best team behind Oklahoma City. All
right, let's play this game here. Suns and Clippers versus the Spurs, series long price. Clippers to win the series 9-1. Would that get you to click? 11 to 1.
No,
With
that was about my estimate was going to be, in the 10-1 range
Okay.
of what I thought the odds would be, but I don't think that there's value on it.
Would you click 12 to 1? Would you click 15 to 1? What number would you need to get the Suns or Clippers over the Spurs?
To get the Clippers, once you start getting into like 12, 13 range, I'd start to at least give it a look.
All right. And then the Suns, it's like you'd probably need a much
Yeah, probably
longer.
it's got to be closer to 20.
All right, interesting. All right, before you head out here, I asked Drew the same question yesterday. Cavs, Celtics. I know you're still all right. Kirk Evans is still a Cavs fan, which means you're still a Cavs fan. You still like them to come out the East. The Celtics are making you a little bit worried, like we talked about again last week. But I don't want to talk about the Cavs. I don't want to talk about the Celtics. I want to talk about who the biggest threat is to the Cavs and Celtics to come out of the East. Is it the Pistons? Is it the Knicks, Hawks, Raptors, someone in the play-ins? Is there anyone who's actually a legitimate threat to either of these teams?
The Pistons still. If Cade comes back, and gets right, the Pistons still have two guys who are all NBA type level players. They've been the best team all season, coast to coast, in the Eastern Conference. So the number one seed, they're going to have home court. They're going to play hard. They're going to have two all NBA guys. I think that the Pistons are a legitimate threat if Cade comes back.
All right. Before you head out here, there's tons of games in the NBA slate tonight. Anything you like in terms of a side and total perspective, or you got a prop for us here? Talk us through tonight's slate.
Yeah, Nikola Jokic under threes for the Denver Nuggets. When he's played Utah so far, they've employed a strategy of basically throwing smaller bodies at him, just getting into his body in any way possible. It's really frustrated him. And they've kind of ran the zone too at different points where he's kind of been in the middle of the zone trying to catch the ball in the mid post there. So Nikola Jokic, I don't think is going to be hanging around the 3-point line, and there's really no rim protector for him to draw out. So I think that his under threes is pretty good.
Under 1.5 threes plus 104, one of the best prices in market. There you go, company man over at FanDuel. That's plus 104, under 1.5 threes for Nikola Jokic on FanDuel. Plus 104, you can get that on FanDuel. Before you head out, I need a review of the UFL halftime shows. Can you rank them? Your favorite to least favorite for those UFL opening halftime shows. I saw DJ Khaled kind of went a little crazy.
Yeah, he was in the corner. That was a weird one. They had him. They didn't roll out a stage in the middle of the thing. Number one has to be Nelly, St. Lunatics, just for nostalgia's sake, if nothing else. So I think they're number one. Number last is some country singer. I don't know who he is.
All right. I said you were a runner. Apparently I was wrong about that. You also strike me as a country guy, which I'm shocked that you liked Nelly over the country guys. You're not a country?
No, not a country guy at all.
All right. I feel like the chat, you can back me up on this. You definitely would have thought Mr. Peanut Butter is
I thought so too.
Is a country guy. But anyways, thank you, Mr. Peanut Butter, for joining the show. Excited to bring on our next guest, Matt Zylbert. Mr. Peanut Butter, all the best to you. Appreciate it. We'll chat soon.
Zylbert's a go.
All right. Great stuff there from Mr. Peanut Butter, as always. All right. We got Matt Zylbert coming on next on this fine Wednesday, Mr. Over-Under himself. But before we bring on the cat, Matt Zylbert, the NBA season on FanDuel, and it's all about those boosts, because game day means your chance to boost your bet and make every play pay off. That's right. All customers can get a profit boost tonight, so every bucket counts just a little bit more. The pace is fast. The game never stops. And with FanDuel, you've got more ways to make every win even bigger. So lock in your bets, boost your odds, and make every night count with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Head over to FanDuel.com/forwardprogress to get started. Must be 21 plus and present in select states. For Kansas, in affiliation Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in DC, Kentucky, or Wyoming. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost token. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit FanDuel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. All right. We got our next guest coming on in just a second here. And I'm still trying to see if this is an April Fool's Day joke.
I know,
he's not loading in the background, so I'm wondering if maybe the April Fool's joke is on us.
I mean, based on comms that I'm getting in the background, like there is communication between Alex and him, so I don't think it's an April Fool's joke. But again, you never know.
Yeah.
Over or under, Zylbert shows up.
Zylbert appearance at the half point, or sorry, the 1.5 point. Right? Is it points? Points? Apples? Who knows? We'll get into that just shortly with Matt Zylbert here. Chat. Let me know your thoughts if you're excited for this. I'm currently very concerned, though. I'm going to talk to Zylbert about this, about Chase DeLauder for AL Rookie of the Year. That was real.
I didn't see anything on my Twitter.
No, that is real. It seems like. I hope. I mean, chat, you can help me out and let me know. I'm doing a live show right now, so I can't really see if it's true or not.
I will look right now.
But Chase DeLauder, having him at like 14-1 preseason. Oh no, X-rays came back negative. Anyways,
that is true.
Well, all right.
1 second here.
We'll talk to Mr. Wednesday himself about Chase DeLauder, his reaction to the injury, Rookie of the Year, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to eventually get into his Wednesday pick. Oh, we just lost him for a second. It's all right. We're going to get this worked out behind the scenes here. We're going to get this worked out behind the scenes.
Technically, I mean, April Fool's is over. It's past 12 here.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Well,
he was here.
He was here. Unless you live on the West Coast, then
yep.
Then yeah. People are asking if we want to get GRP on tomorrow. Maybe we'll do so. Honestly, that might be a good idea. I'm not even joking come draft season. So maybe we can get him on for draft season. All right. Seems like he's in. Seems like he's locked and loaded, ready to go. Let's bring him in on this fine Wednesday. Mr. Over Under himself, the biggest fan of the chopping block, Matt Zylbert. How's it going?
Hey, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday to you as well. What's this shirt you got on here?
This is just a bridesman shirt. I know some of my trolls love that, so thought I'd bust it out for April Fool's Day.
Love it. Love the background as well. Seems like you're in a nice little...
Yeah, upgraded the background since last appearance, on the Super Bowl show. Definitely needed an upgrade. And then it's the offseason anyway. I don't have to show off my Saints banner. But, I mean, the world saw Tyler Shuck has them on the upward trend, the up and up. So, even though my boy, I'm a big fan of Spencer Rattler, he'll get a chance to start somewhere again. If not the Saints, maybe Tyler Shuck gets hurt. Hopefully not. But regardless, Saints are in a prime position. But it's baseball season, so I'm locked and ready for that.
Yeah, maybe VP of Analytics Eric Eager has the same eye as you as for Spencer Rattler. Brings him in to replace Bryce Young because we all know the disaster that's happening over there.
That's a budding rivalry now. Saints-Panthers, me against Eager. So it's good to see the Saints sweep them last year.
Oh, yeah. All right. Let's get into things for today. First thing I want to touch on in all seriousness is the AL Rookie of the Year race. I don't know if you have an opinion on anything here, but talked about it with Barry Horse on the show. We talked about it with Alex Murdo on the show. It's pretty crowded up at the top. We just saw Chase DeLauder get hurt.
Crucial injury right there.
Horrible.
The Guardians lineup without him is going to be very, very weak. They haven't really done much at the plate. So without Chase, did they say is he on the IL already? Did they
so I got some news that he was out for 2 months. I'm still trying to decipher whether or not that is actually true or if someone's just trying to troll me. He has a left foot contusion. I don't know the exact time frame for it, but if it's 2 months, it seems pretty bad.
Yeah, that's very significant.
Oh yeah. Anyone you like in terms of Rookie of the Year odds, though? We got McGonigal at plus 240, Murakami plus 450, our Jays, Okamoto plus 550. Anyone you like here?
I mean, I'm not betting it. I mean, I might as the season goes on, but Murakami, I actually drafted him on both my fantasy teams. I'm a big fan of his power. Obviously, that power has been on display in the early going. I think he's got 3 homers already. And the biggest question about him was how much he can make contacts in the majors, and he's done a fine job of that. So if he continues doing that, the power will still be there. So what are the odds on him?
Plus 340, I believe. Plus 450. Excuse me.
I was going to say, it's kind of low, but I mean, I would recommend a bet on Murakami because I think he's going to be a constant in the heart of that order. My prediction before the season was he would definitely challenge for 30 bombs. I mean, if I had to say, I was predicting he was going to hit over 30 homers. So he'll probably land right around there, possibly flirt with 35-40. So, I mean, that's a good ingredient right there for a Rookie of the Year with plus 450 odds.
Oh, yeah, Murakami. Hopefully he can rank for us. Plus 450 odds are right there. 4 or 5 games into the season so far. Give me some of the biggest surprises you've seen. Is it the Blue Jays continuing to look strong after the World Series run last year? Is there someone else flying under the radar? I know it's not a lot to take away from 4 to 5 games, but
I know exactly. Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. It's such a small sample size. The Rockies last year had a stretch where they went 4-1 or 3-2. So it's really hard to buy into anything after 5 games. You mentioned the Blue Jays. I actually had them having a down season, like finishing closer to 500. So that surprised me a little bit that they're 4-1. As for another, I mean, the Marlins are 4-1. That's another example of why you can't read too much into that, because both their series so far were against the Rockies to open the season and the White Sox still going on. So, I mean, that's 5 games. It's tough to tell. Let's wait another 10 games and then maybe make a determination on, big surprises and big busts.
All right, just had to ask out the gate here, but it seems like we might be having a budding rivalry if you're fading my Blue Jays. You saying they're going to go under 500 or around 500 this year? I don't like that.
Around 500, but I mean, mostly because the division is so competitive. I had the Orioles winning the division before the season. That was one of my futures bets, that they make the playoffs minus 115. The Yankees are always the Yankees. Boston's out to a tough start, but that's not going to last. And, Tampa Bay, I had finishing in last place. They're out to a questionable start also. Their lineup has almost non-existent around Junior Caminero. And then Shane McClanahan, he didn't look too great last night. He's like kind of their X factor, because when he's on, he's arguably a top 10 pitcher in all of baseball, not just the American League. Potential Cy Young candidate when he's in rhythm. But, this is his first action back in the major leagues in at least 2+ years. I think 2023, my favorite season, because that was when the Rangers won the World Series. But, yeah, 2023 was the last action Shane McClanahan had in the majors, and then missed all 2024. And then, of course, for last year, that is when I think it was Tommy John he went through. But that injury happened the final start before the 2025 regular season. So that's a big hurdle. So if he's not himself, the Rays will be in last. But back to the original point, I see the Blue Jays hovering around the middle of that division. It's very competitive, but I really like Baltimore to win that. So,
all right,
we'll see.
Maybe we can come up with
to tell again.
Maybe we can come up with a friendly bet where if Baltimore wins, I'll have to do something. If the Blue Jays win the division, you have to do something. If neither win, then we're both scot-free.
I'll think about it.
All right, I love that. All right, maybe I'll get you something signed from Jacob, your favorite producer here at the Hammer.
How about a signed chopping block?
Oh, I like that. A signed cutting board, maybe. All right, let's move on. I want to ask you about the ABS, of course. MLB's introduced the ABS system, which is pretty interesting here. Any initial reactions? Has this affected your process at all in terms of betting on anything?
It hasn't affected the process, but it's been a delight to see. I especially like the roar of the crowd, when a call is either confirmed or overturned in the home crowd's favor. That's pretty cool to see, because as we saw in that instance with the Red Sox and Reds in their opening series, that was the overturned, I think, against C.B. Buckner, 2 consecutive strike calls that were overturned into balls, I believe it was. That was maybe the biggest reaction from the crowd all game. So the fact that it's even up there as one of the bigger reactions in any given major league game now, that's pretty cool. And most importantly, it's good to get things right. I'm definitely still in favor of umpires having at least some human element, but it's been cool to see, and it arguably should make umpires even better, because to them it becomes you want to have the best percentage of won challenges, successful challenges. So that stat's going to be kept track of for the umpires. Hopefully, longtime top Zylbert guy, DJ Rayburn finishes at the top of that. But now you're building this competitiveness between umpires, and overall, it's been good so far, and it's going to continue to be a good thing. Much like the pitch clock was an instant hit when it first came a few years ago.
All right, awesome stuff here. Let's get into the official pick for Wednesday. Actually, wait, hold on. I know you wanted to talk about the chopping block. You mentioned the signed chopping block. How happy are you that it's back now?
I'm thrilled. Thank you. I'm sure I speak for at least hundreds or thousands of your adoring fans. The chopping block is the best segment on the show, and it was wonderful to see it brought back, and that the tyranny of Jacob the Giant was defeated, at least in this instance of bringing back the chopping block. So I'm happy to see it back.
I did my best to try and fight with Rob, fight with Jacob, fight with Jeff to bring it back. I don't know if you noticed 2 weeks ago, Jeff was suspended from the show because he didn't want the chopping block back. So he had to be suspended.
I refuse to believe that. I think Jeff would be in favor of the chopping block of the week. And I suggested also to him he should also have a Simple Jack of the Week segment.
I like that one. Simple Jack of the Week segment could be a good segment. All right, let's get in for what the people are here for. Your official pick on this fine Wednesday. Is it an over, under? Talk us through it.
First one of the season, and it involves a Zylbert guy. Tigers, Diamondbacks, under. Zach Gallen is on the hill. Oh, let me give the number. I have 8. I already tweeted it out. The sponsor of this.
It's 7.5 minus 105 towards the under right now on FanDuel. We can buy the 8 if you want, and I'll grab that number for you in just a second.
That's the thing. I would, but FanDuel, this is a message to them, by the way, just have full numbers. I mean, for the regular total, you'll have it. Like there was one game I saw for under 7 in Rays Brewers. But when you go to the alternate lines, there's no full numbers. I don't know why they don't have that. But regardless, I'll say for the sake of this, 8.5. I mean, it's minus 150. I can't say 7.5 because, if it lands on 8, people will be like, oh, he's got to get a loss on his record. I have 8 minus 117, but I'm not going to say where that is. But if you're just on FanDuel, and they're a tremendous book, one of the best out there, 8.5 minus 150. But the reason I like it is because, like I said, I'm a big Zach Gallen fan. I've taken many of his games throughout the years. I was one of the first people on him in 2019, his rookie season. Then he set the major league record, most consecutive starts to begin a career, allowing 3 runs or fewer going. It was either 5 innings or 6 innings, but he has the major league record. His first start was deceiving. It was the toughest assignment one could get at Dodger Stadium against the defending champs, the repeat champions, in their home opener. And he was good. The first 4 innings kept them off the board. And then, as could happen with anyone, things just unraveled in the 5th, didn't get an out. That could happen to anybody. Things snowballed. But I really like him again to return to prominence this year because he had a down first half, most disappointing first half of his career, actually. But he righted the ship in the second half, sub-4 ERA. Last 2 months was at his best. I think it was a 3.32 ERA in those 11 or whatever starts in August and September. And he showed signs of the old Zach Gallen in his opening day start against the Dodgers. So, that was really weighing heavily on his mind these past 4 or 5 days going into today. And then the counterpart, Tariq Skubal. I mean, nothing else needs to be said. He's back-to-back Cy Young winner. He threw 6 innings, 1 unearned run. Otherwise, still has that shiny 0.00 ERA next to his name. And, it's Tariq Skubal. He's still in the conversation for best pitcher in all of baseball, if he's not the general consensus best pitcher in baseball. He's going to have his typical gem here. Diamondbacks struggling against lefties in the early going, hitting 207. And, number of 8, you're still good 5'3", 6'2". Skubal could easily blank them, holding the 1 run, and Gallen will do his ends, hopefully around a quality start, 6 innings, 3 runs, and then you got – you still have more room to work with. So, yeah, that is my game today.
All right. On this Wednesday, Tigers, Diamondbacks under 8.5.
First Wednesday of the season, so I'm pumped. That is a 3:40 p.m. Eastern time first pitch, by the way, for those lazy folks out there that might just think it's at night. No, Wednesdays. One thing I love about Wednesdays, there's baseball all day, every week.
All right. How about this? Next time you come on, Matt, I need you to not tweet out the pick on your Twitter account beforehand.
I did it because I know the sponsor of the show, so I wanted to make sure there would be no confusion with 8, 7.5, 8.5. So that's the official play before I came on the show. But next time, I will abide. The dude will abide. All
right. How about this? Dude will abide. I'll eat a banana and marinara sauce, and that's the deal we come to. Is that fair?
Oh, that's a good deal to me.
Yeah,
especially on Wednesday.
It's going to be a great Wednesday for me. next week if you come on, I don't know what the deal is with Alex. He'll talk you through that. But yeah, please appreciate you giving it out live on the show. But
appreciate you seeing you again. I met you on a Wednesday, so
we did. It was maybe the toughest Wednesday of the year for you, though.
Yeah, it most certainly was.
All right, as long as you're at home in your own element, then it's a different story.
Routine, yes.
There you go. So you're in your routine. Heading to the bar tonight, I believe. Zylbert,
the calendar says Wednesday, so I shall be there.
All right, give me quickly before you head out your choice of beer when you go have your enjoy your Wednesday at the bar.
My favorite beer is Allagash. Highly recommend it to anybody that's never tried it. It's like a Maine, Boston-based beer. But the bar I typically go to on Wednesday. Well, I have two bars on Wednesdays. If I'm going in the afternoon, it's Coors Light. Always get a bucket for those Wednesday afternoon games. At night, it's at the other bar, Miller High Life is the preference.
All right, I got to get you on the Guinness game next time, maybe next time.
Possibly. I tried Guinness before. I didn't like it, but that was many years ago, so I'm definitely overdue to give it another shot.
All right. People are asking if we can describe the original Wednesday interaction in detail. We were just talking about, the picks you had for today. You were telling me what to play. You were sweating your bets, smoking a cig in the circa.
I was, yeah. That first or second game, I believe Zach Gallen started that second game of the day. That was the one I live bet, and a unfortunate result with 2 outs in the top of the ninth of that game, if I remember.
He won't let us down today. Zylbert, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon.
Yes, we will. Thank you for having me.
Great stuff there from Matt Zylbert, as always, on this fine Wednesday. For those keeping track at home, he likes the Tigers and Diamondbacks at FanDuel under 8.5 minus 154. If you want the flat number, he posted it on his Twitter account under 8 minus 117, which that's what he says his official pick is. Not sure where that is. Anyways, excited to bring on our next guest. Excited to talk through some WNBA stuff with Kirk Evans, some NBA stuff with Kirk Evans. But before we do that, I want to quickly remind you guys, we have a very interesting episode of Circles Off dropping this week. Yes, it is a podcast episode with Rob, and he's talking to, I don't know if you saw on Twitter, Ship the Justice. And he did a face reveal. Shout out to Shipper for finally doxing himself. What Kirk is shaking his head. He didn't do it for the first episode. Anyways, we'll talk to Kirk. Kirk will have some conjecture about it when he comes on. Okay, sorry, my bad. At least he revealed himself on Circles Off YouTube channel for the first time. Did he reveal himself on
the stream? Can't hear him, by the way.
All right.
I thought you were promoting this.
Anyways, it's all good. It's all good. Ship the Justice on Circles Off. It's gonna be a good one. I listened to about half of it here in the studio as they were recording it. Didn't hear his answers. Only heard Rob's answers. Rob's questions were very good. Excited to listen to it today. Drops at 1 p.m. Eastern time on the Circles Off YouTube channel. I know people are clamoring for those for the podcast episodes. They're back with Ship the Justice. All right, Kirk Evans. Let's bring him on right here. He is, what did I have you written down as? I forgot. I didn't write it down here. A basketball originator, low T soy boy ghoul, Kirk Evans. Welcome to the show.
How we doing?
Doing well. Leafs hat. What's going on here?
Yeah, the Leafs suck and I hate them, but I have the hat.
All right. I don't know how big of a Leafs fan you are, but how good do you feel when the president of whatever he is, Keith Pelly, comes out and says, "I don't care what the fans think. We're not tanking."
I saw this briefly. It's just a joke. The league's a joke, or not the league. The organization's a joke. We've been a joke. We said we're gonna hire a data guy. We'll see. But yeah, we've been a joke for a while. It just took me a bit of time to realize that we're such a joke.
Yeah, it happens. Red Wings, RW fan 23 asks what happens first, Leafs Cup or Kirk has a winning day. Two days ago you had a winning day. I believe. Wait, hold on.
I feel like I've been pretty good on this channel.
You have.
Of late, not to start.
Anyways, you've been okay. Excited to get into WNBA with you in 2 weeks, but before we do that, I want to ask you, first the Ship the Justice. What was I wrong about there? Explain it to me.
His first interview was he had his face on.
Why do I feel? Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm remembering things incorrectly.
You're maybe thinking of that Frank Costanza guy. Maybe he didn't have his face.
Chat, I need you to back me up on this. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, we'll talk about it when we get off the air. I know you're friends with Shipper. You guys had Diego Pavia to win the Heisman.
Still talking about.
Are you excited for his episode? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, absolutely. I like Ship a lot. He's rivals with my co-host, with Jeff.
He's also I don't know if I don't think he knows about me. I don't know if we're rivals, but he says I am like the nut low and would rather have Jeff on than me. So
here's the thing, Jason.
Yeah.
About Shep. He like in 2023, Shipper was very mean to me on Twitter as well. Typically when Chipper is mean to you, he maybe he's a bit more mean than necessary, but there's a lot of kernels of truth in there that you can learn from. At least that was what I found. So typically I do think listening to him will make you a better. Like he retweeted me, which is like his like you're an idiot thing many times. We got into it over Wemby, but now we're friendly and he's given me a lot of good advice over the years. So he's like kind of mean exterior, but actually quite nice when you get to know him.
Yeah, I think he's trying to give me content tips, which I probably won't take from him, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, I will say I think Ship is like he wants his like content made for him, where I think like there's only so much content you can do for like very high level bettors.
Of course. Let's move over and talk about some WNBA stuff here. I want to convince you, like, do we finally click on the tempo at 175 to 1, or are you still a little hesitant? Listen, good organizations do good things. Bringing in Masai it feels like a good thing. I know he's an owner, wants to be a part of the organization. We don't know how much he'll be a part of the organization, but him and Tannenbaum have worked together really, really well in the past. Do you think this is like a positive sign for the tempo? Can I convince you at all to click the 175 to 1? Like, think about this. Picture this. I don't know when the playoffs are, but like we could be sweating the Toronto Tempo with a 175 1 ticket. We can be sitting in the stadium watching them live, me and you side by side as we sweat our tickets.
I did bet them at 200 to 1.
Oh, okay.
I did. I don't think Masai matters much. He's just part of ownership. He also was like genuinely terrible for the last 6 years of his Raptors run. That being said, I think Masai is like quite clearly if he was like the GM of the Tempo, he'd be a high level WNBA GM. I think that the NBA GM level is a higher level than the W. In terms of management. That being said, Breanna Stewart today pretty much said that she's returning to the Liberty, which was always going to happen and is fine, but it was so like, it was essentially like, it doesn't matter at all. I'm going back to New York, which I think will mean that the Liberty feel like they don't even need to protect her, which then will mean that they're probably going to protect Jonquel Jones, which I think the best path for the Tempo being really good was giving Jonquel Jones Supermax. So I think it's a bit tougher, but like at the end of the day, everyone's a free agent, and I think Toronto is going to try being good. So yeah, I still think 175 to 1's a click. I think their roster is going to look pretty bad after the draft, and then the hope will be, can they get some players in free agency?
Yeah, I read recently that they're not releasing the protected list at all for each team. Only it's going to be why are they doing this?
Silly, but it's because of like I think the teams don't want it released, but it obviously should be released.
Yeah, I think it should be released to the public because like I think that's like an
100%.
Important thing. Like it was. Listen, I'm basing this off the NHL. We've been through 2 expansion drafts so far. It didn't like. We're going to know that a team didn't protect the player if they get picked. It's as simple as that. Like, and you can probably infer
that the players, but like, yeah, it is ridiculous because also like obviously the agents are going to figure out who got protected and who didn't, and like grow up if you're not protected. It's not that big a deal, but yeah, teams just don't want their players knowing that they didn't protect them.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid stuff here. Anyways,
I agree, and it makes it like way less dramatic.
I agree.
Because okay, on Friday, it's the draft Friday at 3. they're going to say, like the Toronto Tempo select player X. But like as a fan, it's hard to react to it because you can't be like, oh, we should have taken player Y. Like you don't even know if they were protected or not.
Yeah, ruins the spirit of the draft. 3 p.m. Eastern time, I think, right? 3:45, 3 p.m.
Yeah. I think 3 on Friday. Yeah.
I'll let you know if I'm going to swing by the apartment to watch it live with you. Maybe we'll watch it together, crush a few beers.
Wow, unfortunately, our bet just got ruined. I think. Let's see if it's still live on the board here.
I'm sorry. If it's still live, just throw to it. Just throw to it.
I was going to give out Magic +4. I think it actually is still up on FanDuel right now.
Okay.
So I would definitely click
Magic +4
right
minus
now.
110 is what we're looking at. +4
Yes.
minus 110. Orlando Magic +4 minus 110 because it's moving live.
But it is up at FanDuel. It doesn't look like the market's going too crazy right now. That was one of the 2 plays I was going to give out, but I'm seeing it just like very much on FanDuel right now. So I think we are good.
All right. Seems like it's just best price.
Plus 140 also good. I think that's best price in market as well. So
company man.
Beautiful.
+4 minus 110 plus 140. Magic at home to the Hawks. Any reasoning behind this? You want to talk us through it?
So I just looked at my phone and Franz Wagner is questionable, which means he's going to play. He's been out for a few months. He's Orlando's best player. He'll obviously be super limited, but I made this game 3.5. Franz out, so Franz in +4 I think is very good. I was playing a little bit better numbers, but considering that Franz is going to play, I think that this is actually just very good right now.
All right. And you had a second one for us here? Or?
I just have one prop. If we want to do that right now.
Fire away.
We're going to Denver, Utah.
Yep.
And we're going to go Bryce Sensabaugh over 21.5 points minus 110.
All right. Talk us through this one.
Yeah, he's just a like ridiculous scorer, and they're 17-point dogs, which for Utah actually means he'll probably play more because they kind of bench him if the game's too close. 250 total, one of the highest totals of the season as well. So it's just a really good spot.
All right. Bryce Sensabaugh points. What was the number you need again? Sorry.
21.5 minus 110.
21.5 minus 110 towards the over is what we're
That's
looking
also pretty good within market looking. You can get maybe a little better, but that's totally fine.
All right. Bryce Sensabaugh over and Orlando Magic +4 minus 110. Orlando Magic on the money line.
The guy was talking shit in the comments early about am I going to win a bet, whatever. I would like to go through the sides and totals I've given out on this show.
You were 1-1 last week. It's fine. You're fine.
Because I actually think that the sides and totals I've given out have closed like insanely well here, which like I'm not betting at 12:45 p.m. on a day of game. Like that's a hard market to play into. So I'm giving myself a pat on the back for where these lines have closed, and also Magic steaming like crazy right now.
I will also give the commenter credit right after he said that. He said, "We love you, Kirk Goat." So just teasing. That's how it works here. Don't be so defensive. Also,
no,
if you're getting some crazy good
right.
CLV, maybe you should start to bet on these 1240s on a Wednesday.
Yeah. It's not a bad point. It's not a bad point. But I'm very selective this late.
All right, fair enough. You also got RW fan being apologetic. We love you, Kirk was being sarcastic. Sorry, you're such a dick sometimes.
It's April Fools.
You're such a dick to this guy.
No, I'm not. I wasn't actually hurt. I'm just saying that I do think that I've been pretty good in that in these sides totals. But we lost every prop for like 3 months. Don't think I'm forgetting that.
It's okay. It's okay. I was just betting along with you and having a terrible experience. Let's flip back to the WNBA though, because I wanted to ask you, didn't send you this before, but I've just noticed that they opened up a ton of awards markets outside of just MVP. They've also opened up Coach of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, to be X seed in the playoffs. Most regular season wins. Tons of markets open on FanDuel. I don't know if you want to just do
my God. Wait, win totals are up too.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to do a quick scan to this. I know it's obviously going to be tough because, again, we don't know the protected players list. So many free agents are in flux for the WNBA. We don't know how the draft's going to turn out. We don't know how good or bad the tempo and the tempo and the Sun are going to be. Is it? Oh, sorry, the Fire. Sun, Fire, getting them mixed up. We don't know how bad or good the Toronto Temple Portland Fire are going to be. Everything's like very in flux, up in the air. But let's do a quick scan here. Now that you have these odds in front of you, where were you where was your mind, if you don't want, I know you don't want to give away too much here, but where was your mind instantly going to click, instantly going to look? Is it like maybe a team to be exited in the playoffs, first seed, second seed, third seed, most regular season wins? Talk me through this.
Yeah, obviously I'm just looking right now. I think there's no way Toronto should be lined at 11.5 wins. I think that's way too low. It's going to be a very flat season in the W, in my opinion. Like maybe Vegas and New York are really good, but I just think the teams are going to be, it's going to be way flatter. Also Minnesota, Nafisa Collier is like, her ankle is pretty in pretty rough shape right now. So that's like the best team in the league is going to be pretty just okay for she might not play for pretty much the entire regular season. The win totals do clearly have that somewhat factored in. Like they would be easily a 30-win team, but like I just think there's no way that Toronto should be an 11.5 win total team. I'm sure I have other takes as well, but I kind of need to look a bit. I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here right deeper,
now.
And I'm not going to want to obviously like blow up a market. I definitely have some. I know that this bet I really like moved a lot, sadly, for an award. But yeah, I think general thought is like you're going to want to be really following free agency and what's happening very, very closely here.
All right. For those looking for the win totals, you can just type in WNBA futures in the search bar on FanDuel and they'll pop up because they weren't populating under my WNBA. Maybe it's because it's just populating in real time for us here. But over 11.5 seems like something you like in terms of win totals here for the Toronto Temple at -115 on FanDuel.
Yeah. That's like really bottom. I just don't think that they're going to – we've talked about it. I don't think they're going to be anywhere close to that bad. That is like a terrible, terrible team.
All right. Can I ask a dumb question?
Yeah.
How many games are there in the WNBA season? Is it 40?
It's actually a great question because it's changed a bunch over the last few seasons. I was thinking about what I believe it's 44 this season. But it was 40 and then it moved to 44. I believe that's stagnant this year and it's still 44.
Yeah, I just Googled it. It says 44, then maybe 52 next year, I think. Is what
because they're going to increase it again for sure. But I think this season is unchanged.
Okay. All right. Awesome stuff. Maybe you could.
I think like it's just a completely new paradigm shift in the WNBA because of the new cap. Like it's possible these teams like Minnesota, Vegas, New York, New York had 3 top 10 players and the deepest roster in the league last year. And like, they still didn't even win the championship. Like that's how good teams could be. I just simply don't believe that a really, really good depth player is going to be willing to sign for cheap when they can go to another spot and get way more money. Like that's not how other leagues work with a higher salary cap. When the salary cap was so low that the contracts were all so similar, it led to a lot of this stuff. And like there was maybe some under the table cheating going on. I'm not the first one to say that. That's and again, I think that the players are going to want to get their money. Like I think they fought for this. I don't think they're going to be, just willing to take 30% pay cuts because they want to play on a good team. I just kind of don't believe that.
All right. Kirk, appreciate you joining the show. Appreciate you giving us this information. I'm going to give you homework. You're going to study this board, and we're going to talk through it next week when we finally have the the teams locked and loaded. Maybe we get a few more markets.
Well, we will not have the teams locked and loaded next week.
Sorry, not locked and loaded, but we'll know who's on the tempo. We'll have a better feel of like free agency. We could probably be a little bit more predictive than just being essentially in the dark in terms of where players are going. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm out next week, but 2 weeks from now.
I'm out 2 weeks from now. But anyways, we'll
right,
talk.
So I'll never see you again.
Day. Sounds great. What do you mean you'll never see me again?
Well, 3 weeks from now, like who knows? Worth could be over.
Jesus Christ. All right. Kirk, appreciate you joining the show. We'll chat soon. Well, maybe not soon. Apparently like a really long time. Anyways, appreciate Kirk joining the show. Gonna have to bug him behind the scenes. Maybe we'll get some behind the scenes content of me and Kirk watching the WNBA expansion draft together. Do me a huge favor, guys. Let me know if you want to see that. Maybe tweet at Rob. Be like, hey, Jason and Kirk should watch the WNBA expansion draft together, because then maybe I can hang out with Kirk finally, as I've been trying to do for the last couple weeks. 10 invites, 0 responses. No, you had 2 responses, I guess. 10 invites. What was I complaining about on Monday? Anyways, it's all good. It's all good. Appreciate you. No, appreciate you guys joining the show. Shout out to Zylbert. Shout out to Mr. Peanut Butter. Shout out to Kirk. Appreciate you guys for watching. Appreciate Mike for keeping things on the track as well. Do us a favor if you haven't already. Smash the like button. Goes a long way here on the channel. If you're new to the channel as well, hit that subscribe button. I haven't done a good job asking for likes, and it shows. It shows. So I'm going to ask again, guys. Please do us a huge favor. Smash the like button. Goes a long way here on the channel. Send it to some friends as well. If you're listening in audio forms, don't forget, rate and review the pod. Goes a long way for us on all these platforms. And that's it. That wraps up today's show. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. I sent Kirk 10 invites. They're unanswered invites because he hasn't responded to me. Now, when he responds to me, there'll be 10 consecutive invites, but 10 unanswered as it stands right now. Appreciate you guys tuning in to the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network. This has been the Wednesday, April 1st edition of the Hammer Daily here on the Hammer Betting Network, presented by our good friends over at FanDuel. We'll see you guys right here on Thursday tomorrow.